body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
I am here to support the younger generations because they're the ones that are impacted. And if the older women that had this protection for our whole lives don't stand up with the young ones, they're not going to have any power to get anything done.
It has already. It shows that the government is able to take our rights away.
Whose choice? My choice.
It's like, I don't know, like a big stab in the gut and like something that would never even happen. I'm kind of so in shock.
They don't really want to save babies. They don't really care about life. All they care about is control. All they care about is power.
I work at UC Health Anschutz, and I'm lucky enough that our hospital is going to support women throughout this. They made an announcement that day that we will be supporting women, but that feeling of despair that this is even happening, that we're going backwards, it's hard.
Putting religion, it's like America, the land of the free, the so-called land of the free, and putting a religion on everybody, every woman in America is the most ridiculous and anti-freedom thing I've ever heard.
It's just an excuse.
It's an excuse to take power.
It's really hard to grow up like this.
I feel really grateful to be in a state that I could get a contraceptive by myself, so that I could make my own choice.
Whose choice? My choice. Whose choice? My choice. Whose choice? My choice.
It's unbelievable to me that we're in a place now in 2020 where guns have more rights than a human body.
How do you think men can help?
They need to show up, because it can't just be all of us women. The men don't show up, we're going to be left in the dust. Like, we're going to be lesser than, we're going to lose our votes, losing our rights. And if you care about daughters, sisters, cousins, nieces, your mothers, your grandmothers, then you would show up. Then you would be here with the rest of us fighting for this immoral act that's being unjust to women everywhere. I'm blessed enough to be in a state where my rights are protected, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give up and just go to bed sleeping easier, because there are thousands of women who don't have that right, and it's my responsibility to fight for them. There are people who don't have anybody and have to face this alone, and they never should have, especially when it's a government policy, especially when you're facing a crime for protecting yourself.
You're gonna make me cry. The reason why I'm here today is because I grew up pro-life. I grew up in the church, and that was what I was taught up until a couple years ago, when I realized that life is more nuanced than just black and white. All these Christians that are against it they probably know people that have had abortions that are just too afraid to say it. I think the people that are already pro-choice need to reach out to the people that they know that might be pro-life at the moment or think differently, and just have an honest conversation.
2, 4, 6, 8, separate the church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate the church and state. 2, 4, 6, 8, separate the church and state. Whose choice? My choice. Whose choice? My choice. Whose choice? My choice.
I feel enraged. I feel a sense of protection for all the women in my life. The majority of the women in my life live in states where there's about to be bans or it's going to be completely inaccessible. Many of those women have had IVF treatment, they've had sexual assault experiences, they have had, issues with pregnancy where they had to abort. So I feel a sense of terror because I might lose one of my friends. As a middle school teacher, I'm surrounded by adolescents. People don't see them as a complete whole person, but they can get pregnant, they can experience abuse and trauma.
Do you think that middle schoolers understand, or do they?
They're angry.
Yeah.
They're angry. A lot of my students are angry. the ones who can kind of understand, I think, the implications of this. A lot of my LGBTQ students are terrified as well. I mean, I've been getting phone calls, texts, they're all upset. Are they next? What is going to happen to them in their school? What is going to happen to them in the world?
I am a mother by choice, for choice. I feel like, you know what, okay, if you're going to pass this on to the states, well, you just empowered us in this state to do what we need to do to protect women's rights and reproductive health.
For a long time, I have been delaying running for Congress myself out of doubt whether anyone was going to listen. And with Roe versus Wade being overturned, I have decided that it's time to stop being afraid, and it's time to stand up, and it's time to run for those offices and take power and make change so that we can protect our rights for future generations.
It's really mind-blowing that something, for how progressive we think America is, that something, such a fundamental right to the ownership of our bodies can be taken away by people who can never understand or empathize with a woman's position or a reasoning why they would choose to do anything they want to do with their body. And I own a women's gym, MJ Fit, and so through the journey of starting and opening it, I've had the experience of working with so many women from a variety of walks of life, and some very religious women who have had crazy pregnancies where they would have died if they didn't abort, or they went through IVF and with multiple embryos being implanted. Like, if you have 8 that take, you can't have 8 babies, and that's technically an abortion. And those are just some situations that we haven't considered if we're completely pro-life, without thinking that pro-choice doesn't mean pro-abortion, it doesn't mean kill babies. It rather means to just have the choice and the autonomy to make decisions for your own body, and to be considerate of others who have a situation that may seem unfathomable to you. And most of the men who are even going to listen to this and take the time to get through all of the content that we're sharing are probably supportive of women fighting to have rights to their bodies. And so, I mean, continuing to show up is the biggest thing. Show up and fight amongst the women and be an ally and share your story. If you have perspectives, it's being inundated with women's point of views, and so it is really powerful to have a man's point of view on this, if in support of the women that they have heard the stories from and that can empathize from.
Supreme Court Justice! Where is the justice? Supreme Court Justice!